We know it's Mother's Day today, that those of you who are privileged to still have your mothers around or who are mothers yourselves, you must have had a bit of a challenge sparing the next 2 hours to Lions, your service club of choice. We are therefore very appreciative of your presence this evening, and on behalf of the global leadership team, led by Lion Judy King and ably assisted by Lion Sherwin Greenwich, past council chair, and myself, Lion Diana Angol, I wish a happy Mother's Day to all our mothers, and I extend a hearty welcome to everyone.
Thank you. Same to you.
So as we start off with, and I wish everyone a productive evening.
Yes.
We will be addressing the club treasurer, and this will be the only session this evening.
Oh, wow.
So it is my pleasure at this point to introduce the facilitator, who is none other than Lion Nerissa Chan. So Lion Nerissa has been actively involved with Lionism for over 35 years. A member of the Lions Club of St. Andrew Central, she has served in every position on the board of directors, including twice as president. She has served at the district and cabinet levels, including zone chairman and region chairman. Her work in volunteerism has earned her numerous awards, including Zone Chairman of the Year, Region Chairman of the Year, and International Volunteer Award for the Parish of St. Andrew. Professionally, Lion Nerissa is the Assistant General Manager at one of the largest manufacturer and distributor of micro ingredients for the food industry in Jamaica. In her professional life, she is a management executive and a food consultant. Lion Nerissa holds a Bachelor of Science degree with honors and an MBA degree from the University of the West Indies. She is a Lions University graduate, having completed both the bachelor's and master's degrees. She is a certified Lions trainer and a Lions Leadership Institute graduate. A Jamaican, Lion Nerissa is the proud mother of 2 daughters, Lion Dr. Petagay Chang of the St. Andrew Central Lions Club and Lion Elise Chan of the Delray Beach Lions Club in Florida. I turn you over now to Lion Nerissa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that introduction. Lion Judy King, Melvin Jones Fellow, JLT Chairperson, and her team, organizer for this workshop. Other distinguished Lions and Leos in the audience, guest Leos, my fellow Lions, wherever you are in the Caribbean and the rest of the world, a very warm and pleasant good afternoon to you all. I am, as you heard, Lion Nerissa Chang, and I'm here today to talk about being a treasurer, a club treasurer. Before I start though, let me just say how glad I am to be here and to express my best wishes to you all. Although Mr. COVID has put a restriction on our ability to meet and mingle, he has helped persons like me to improve upon in presenting to a virtual audience. So here we go. Today, as you hear, I will be doing training for the treasurer. And what will you be learning in this online training today? For you to get a better understanding of what the responsibilities and duties of the treasurer, club treasurer are, and a good overview of what the job of a treasurer entails. Can you see the screen, everyone? Can you see?
Yes, Miss.
Yes. Yes, okay, and I'm clear. Am I clear?
Very
Yes,
clear.
Miss.
Okay. At the end of the training, I hope that you will know the constitutional duties and responsibilities as set out by Lions Clubs International, be aware of the job, be able to fulfill the tasks relating to the treasurer, be able to identify available resources to assist in the position as treasurer, be aware of the required reports, and recognize the leadership expectations of the position of club treasurer. The topics that I will be looking at this afternoon for training, I want to look at the role and functions of the treasurer. The treasurer's attendance, how important it is at club meetings. Keeping funds and monies in order. The financial obligations of the club, reports and record keeping, financial reporting, reimbursement procedures, how to manage the bank accounts, my LCI, submitting monthly report, payments, end of term, conducting audits and reviews. Can you see me now? I'm not sure. Okay, can you see now? Can you see me now?
That's fine.
Okay, now, before we even think about the treasurer and getting to the meeting, there are a few things that we must do getting started. Before the start of your first club meeting, you should obtain from your current treasurer a copy of the current financial report, as well as all finance templates. Get the following items in place: a receipt book, an invoice book, lodgement book, checkbooks, club rubber stamp if your club has a rubber stamp, list of club members, and a signing authority form for operating bank accounts. These are the things you must or you should try to put in place before the beginning of the first meeting. Now, we talk about treasurer and we hear it all the time, but who is the treasurer? The treasurer is the financial controller or the financial officer of a Lions Club or Leo Club and the custodian of all funds. My Leos, throughout this training, please note that I will say Lions, but you're also included, okay? The treasurer is a member of the board of directors. Lions Clubs International requires that the treasurer be under the supervision and direction of the president and the board of directors, simply meaning that the treasurer answers to the board of directors and at no time should try to disburse any funds without the board's consent. So the treasurer works with the board and they are his or her boss. They give all they call the shots. The treasurer is the chairman of the finance committee, and the finance committee can be just a group of persons on the team. Ideally, we can have a three-man team. That's usually sufficient. Why do we want to have a three-man team? Personally, I feel that we should try to have what you call an odd number, a 3, a 5 or so, because if there are decisions to be made, then we can get an answer because then you'd have an outcome. But if we go for odd numbers, then we can have what you call break-in. Nobody don't know what to do because we have, it's what you call stalemate, okay? It's neighbors. I have to apologize though. I think my neighbor's dogs are making some noise next door. I'm so sorry. What is the purpose of having a finance team though? The main reason for having a finance team is for succession planning, but it also serves other purposes. If a treasurer is unable to, perform his or her duties for whatever reason, a member of the committee can fill in. They also can provide oversight and help with accountability for the treasurer and for each other. Roles and responsibilities of club treasurer. Now, one of the major roles for the club treasurer is preparing budgets and to set annual dues. Preparing club budgets. Most clubs tend to use the budget system of financing. This is a practice of anticipating in advance as accurately as possible the outcome and expense of the club for a specific period and then preparing a budget on that basis. And the period is usually for the Lionistic or the Leo year, the fiscal year, which runs from the 1st of July to the 30th of June. Things to remember when you're preparing budgets. Budgets are prepared to reflect projected income set to be equal to projected expenditure. Budgets are not written in stone. They may need to be adjusted at mid-year. So don't worry, it is not a problem if at the end of the year there is a small surplus in income. The club should have two budgets, an administrative budget and the activities budget. These two budgets must balance independently of each other, and as they say, the two shall never meet. Together with the finance committee, which includes the president as ex officio member, the treasurer is responsible for preparing both the administrative and the activities budget for submission to the board of directors for approval. We talked about the budget. Now let's look at the administrative budget. The administrative budget is what finances the club operations. The income is primarily from club dues, supplemented by fines, raffles, club raffles, to Lions and Leos and their families and friends. We can also get income from personal projects and donations by club members. We have to remember that if meals are included as part of the club dues, they must be included in the administrative budget, must be included in the administrative budget. Payments from the administrative fund would include, but not be limited to, Lions Clubs International, district, and multiple district dues, office expenses for the club, any expenses accrued for website hosting or other public relations efforts, and payments to restaurants, catering services, or club members for meals for both club members and Lions guests. So those are some of the factors that you have to put in inside of an administrative budget. Strictly items that would finance the operations of the club. We next look at the activities budget. Now, some clubs will refer to it as charitable budget. Now, this activities budget finances the club's activities and projects. Its income should come from specially fundraising projects held by the club in the community. Under no circumstances at all can the income from the club's fundraising projects be used to defray any club's administrative expense. Even if when you were planning that project, you did say that the club advertises that funds raised would be used for the club's own purpose. No, no, no. The club can, however, though, deduct the direct operating expenses of the fundraising project from the funds raised. Factoring into the budget will be other factors, Ronnie Melbourne bursary and the regional disaster fund. And I think that's mainly just for regions 1 and 4. We also have to factor in the district disaster dues. And if the club has a Leo Club, the Leo Club levy. All these must be within the activities budget, okay? Now that we have looked at both budgets, we have to see how we are going to set annual members' dues. Now, with advice from the Finance Committee and approval of the Board of Directors, the Treasurer sets annual club members' dues at an amount sufficient to efficiently operate the club and maintain its financial health. The dues amount must be approved by the Board of Directors and submitted to the club membership for approval. In setting club dues, though, the following should be taken into consideration and be included. Lions Clubs International, multiple district dues, and other fees. You also have to look at meeting room expenses, which could include postage. We have stationery, maybe. We know that we have computer, printer supplies. We also have to factor in meals and any gifts for guests. Supplies from Lions Clubs International too would be in that. And that would maybe be purchasing pins and plaques, certificates, awards. All these must be in the budget. I would try to tell you though that try to make sure that in preparing your budget, your expenses do not exceed your income. All right. Now, the treasurer will next receive and deposit all monies into approved club bank accounts. Treasurers, remember, ensure that when you receive funds, they are accredited to the correct account, and you need to do that promptly. The accounts, the activities account, the admin account, and if there's a special account. Now, if you're not sure, please, I beg you, ask for help. Do not guess, seek help so that the funds that you have can be placed in the correct account, okay? Now, make all payments. The club treasurer is responsible for making payments for items purchased by the club, as well as making payments for the district, multiple district, and for international dues. Each month, the club treasurer will receive an itemized statement from Lions Clubs International headquarters, mainly if transactions occur or if the club maintains a balance on its account. Payments may be made using credit card. You can use PayPal. You can send checks and wire transfers. Payments can be made using any one of those vehicles. Please remember, however, that there is a charge for some of these transactions, especially for wire transfers. So if these charges are not paid, what do you think is going to happen? Your payment international will be short, as the charges will be taken out of the original sum that you were sending to Lions Clubs International. It is the responsibility, therefore, of the treasurer to review the statement for accuracy and submit the statement to the club's board of directors for approval. So you have to make sure you show your board of directors a statement, yes, and you're going to make sure that the correct amount plus any charges that you have gonna incur in sending off this payment, that it is accounted for. Now, one more thing that the treasurer has to pay very close attention to. It is the treasurer's responsibility to closely monitor the billing statements and any payments that you may make to Lions Clubs International. If a payment was made and in the next billing statement you do not see it, what are you going to do? Pay it again? No, do not pay it again. As soon as possible, you're going to email the payments receipt information to the accounts receivable and club account services department at Lions Clubs International. Their email address is accounts receivable at lionsclub.org. Address is accounts receivable at lionsclubs.org. Okay, so the minute you find that you made a payment, you don't see it in your statement because you're online, you'll be able to see. But if you get your statement and you don't see it on your statement, you need to get in touch with Lions Clubs International at their accounts receivable department. After the club boards of directors has approved the monthly statement, say your statement come and everything is fine, it is your job now to see to it that you submit payments to the association's bank account. Okay? Now, the treasurer, as mentioned before, there are two accounts and they are self-explanatory. We have the administrative account and the activities account, and you must maintain separate bank accounts for these two accounts, all right? So I will not go into that again. Now, we are now going to look at preparing financial reports. Most of a treasurer's time during a board meeting is spent presenting and explaining the financial report. Therefore, it is important to choose a format for the report that is clear, very easy to follow, and most of all, be accurate. Some items to include in the report are, but not limited to, itemized income. All income that you get, you're going to itemize them, and all expenses, you itemize them for the period since the last financial report. You need to look on the amount that you budgeted for the expenses. You also need to pay attention to the net monetary assets for the club at the beginning and at the end of the reporting period. So if you have income, less expenditures, you're hoping to have an asset plus, but you can also have negative if your expenses is greater than your income for that period. What you do is to keep a running total of the amount of money the club actually spent on community projects versus the same figures for the previous year. So you always keep your eye on what you're doing now and look at what happened last year and see and make sure you stay within that margin that you have on your projection, okay? Maintaining financial reports. All you need to do here, right, my treasurers, just ensure that they're accurate and they're up to date. Now, so I will not dwell on that. You just have to make sure as you get things, you make the deposit, you bring everything, and you bring your records up to date. Now, preparing the final records for audit and the handing over of new funds, of the funds to the new treasurer, I will look at this later on down in the presentation. I will look at that later on. Now, another thing for the treasurer is very important activity. A treasurer's attendance at meetings and events. The treasurer should be present at all club meetings and all fundraising activities. Yeah. Anywhere the treasurer is a money person, anywhere monies will be collected and monies paid out or disbursed, the treasurer must be there. Okay. So at a board of directors meeting, you might say, well, you know, maybe I can skip out, but no, the treasurer should attend all board of directors meeting. Why? The treasurer should ensure that any payments that are supposed to be going through, any payments, all payments are approved by the board of directors. And they also have to see to it that such approvals are recorded in the minutes of the meeting. Not just that the board of directors said it's okay, but the secretary has to record it as a record in black and white in the minutes of the meeting. Okay? Now, the treasurer will also at that meeting report reconciled bank balances at the meeting with a brief income and expenditure statement. All right. I know some persons have a difficulty in understanding the term reconciled bank balances. It sounds like a very hard 3 words, or hard, the first word seems a little difficult. But what this simply means is that your club account balance should be the same as the balance on your monthly statement from your banking institution. And after you make adjustments for bank charges on represented checks, checks that mean that you have paid somebody with a check, but they have not yet presented the check. They have not yet encashed that check. So let me just explain for you one more time. Reconciled bank balances, when your book balance will not have had in any bank statements, because as you know, the bank is charging you for stamp duties, bank charges, and so on. So your account also would have had in checks that you disbursed. But because that person has yet encashed that check, it is still as an outstanding balance on your account. Okay? So whenever you should add, take away the bank charges from your balance, put back the balances that you paid out, the checks that you paid out, then you should your bank balance and the club's bank balance should be the same. That's what they just simply call reconciled bank balances. Okay? Not difficult. Now, the treasurer also attendance at business meetings. Critical, important. The treasurer should keep all members informed. Every single member is entitled to know what goes on in the finance. Don't think it is for you alone and the board. No, every member ought to know what goes on, right? So you're to keep all your members informed. Just avoid them so inquisitive. No, every single member ought to know what goes on in the club. So you must always be prepared at every business meeting. Never leave your receipt book, because you are coming and you're expecting to collect money. So you have to give receipts. So always be prepared to collect funds and to issue receipts for the funds that you collect. You must also, on the reports in a business meeting, be prepared to present a very short treasurer's report at the club's business meeting. Remember, it should be concise, it should be factual, and to the point. There is an example of a treasurer's report presented to the club. Line Peter Gay, if you could just bring that slide up for me. You will see there that it is a club report showing an administrative account and an activities account. You can see for both the administrative and activities accounts, you will see the income and expenditures. The income will show you the amounts and the source of the income, while the expenditure shows the amount paid out and to whom. So it is critical for you to give these details, where the money came from and where did the money go. Okay? And at the end of it all, you give a brief as to the balance in all the accounts. So if you look at the bottom, you have admin account, X amount at that point in time, activities account, that amount of money in it at that point in time. And if you have a convention savings account also, you will see what that balance is at that point in time, the very day that you're giving the report. Okay, so that in a nutshell is what I would say that a brief report to your business meeting would look like. You can maybe, add or take away from this, but basically you need to have income expenditure balances, okay? Now, I want to move on to keeping the funds in order. I love this part. The treasurer is charged with keeping the club funds in order. How is the treasurer going to do that? The treasurer is going to make sure that they collect and they pay out money relating to the club. Only things relating to the club that they are to collect and to pay out from. Okay? What a treasurer has to do too is to liaise with the secretary to send out invoices for club dues to members. I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks or so, but I think 2 weeks usually is sufficient to give them a 2-week notice before the dues are due. And as you know, we are billed twice per year from Lions Clubs International, and the 2 billing periods are June 1 and January 1. So it is best if you provide that notice to members at least 2 or 3 weeks before, so that come June 1, they will be able to pay their dues, and you in turn can forward the money to Lions Clubs International. All right. I know it is difficult for some persons to pay their dues or all of their dues at one time, but I would encourage members though to pay their dues on a semi-annual basis. And personally, what I do in my own club, we encourage members to pay their dues in full. So come June 1, you pay all your dues and that is it. And guess what? We give you a little discount. So when you pay your dues in full, you get a little, a little thing off it. We also want to discourage monthly and quarterly payments. And if there are some members who want to pay quarterly or monthly, those payments will also attract a small penalty. Okay? Now, treasurer, it is your job to prepare the budgets for the admin and the activity accounts, as I mentioned before. Okay? Now, when you look at the administrative accounts, where do the funds come from in the administrative accounts? They are here. They're acquired from where? Members' dues, personal projects, from fines. You come in, you fine me several times for coming late or wearing my hair with having something in there or not wearing my pin. Then we also have what you call in-house raffles. We get little funding from that. And that is usually among club members again, and among your club members' friends and their families. And we take straight donations from club members, also their families and friends. So this is really and truly the monies that we use to finance the running and the operation of the admin account. One thing you have to remember though, that monies here can be transferred to an activities account. That means if I have a very healthy admin account and my admin account have a very healthy balance, I can transfer to the activities account and help them in the financing of projects if the needs arise. So where administration money, when collected, it can be used for both the admin and for activities. When you get to the activities account though, all funds in this account is funds raised from John Public, raised from the public. All these funds raised from the public must go back to the public, okay? The funds in the activities account should never ever be used for any administrative purposes at all, However, funds can be transferred from administration, I just said, from the administration account to the activities account to assist with projects. And the treasurer should see to it that if the funds are given to the activities and it is a gift, then it stays in the activities. But there are times if you can lend some money to the activities account, if the activities account is running short and you have a little extra in your admin account, you can lend them and they will in turn pay you back. That is the only way you can get money coming back from an activity account to an administrative account, okay? That is something we all have to remember, never forget that. The treasurer should work with the board of directors We said that before. But with the board of directors, we have to review the current banking institutions. You know, some banks are big, some are not so big, but we have to make sure that the institutions where our monies are kept, where the activities and the admin accounts are kept, that those institutions, that they are safe, that they are secure, and that they are reputable. Okay? Don't make sense to go into a bank and because they can give you maybe a high interest rates or whatever, you find little after that bank is going to fold. So we need to make sure that wherever we put our money, that that bank is safe, reputable, and secure. Okay? You have to make sure that the club has two separate accounts, two totally separate accounts. And of utmost importance is that the funds for the administrative account must be kept separate from the funds for the activities account. I cannot stress that enough. Funds for the administrative account must be kept separate and apart from funds for the activities account. Make sure that anytime you get money from anybody, a receipt must be issued. If no matter how the amount is small, you issue a receipt for all monies received. You should request and use checks whenever possible. Avoid cash using because you know something, sometimes when you use cash, it causes confusion and create the potential for unclear accounting later on. Okay? So you want to avoid cash, use checks. You want to deposit monies in predetermined accounts. You want to make sure that the monies you collect for admin goes to the admin account and the activities money goes to the activities account. And if there's a special account, then that too will get whatever special account money that is, that would go to that account. How are you going to ensure that? A treasurer has to be very meticulous and very precise and be very, very careful. When you're making your lodgements, your deposits, make sure that the account numbers are correct. Okay? The account numbers for the admin account, the activities account, and the special accounts, make sure that they're assigned their correct numbers. When you get monies, what should you do with it? Don't put it in a drawer. And you don't want to have it lying around too long. Monies that you get, any deposit that you receive, you should try to make that deposit the next day. Any money you get today, you should try to make that lodgement, that deposit into the account by tomorrow, 1 working day or 2 working days the most. Guess why? When you do that, you kind of make sure that you're on top of your game. If you take too long, you might just forget. I said, what was this money for? You might just not remember. Okay, so you need to do that as quickly as possible. When you receive money, make sure that you record. You make sure you write your receipts and you make a record of the monies you get, make a record of the deposits you're going to be making and any expenses paid. That will greatly minimize the potential for any errors. And you're just going to monitor the accounts and alert club members if by chance your expenses exceed your budgeted amounts. Okay? I hope I'm not going too fast. I know we look at the financial obligations. All clubs have financial obligations, and it is the treasurer's responsibility to ensure that all obligations are paid on time and it is recorded. So, starting with our big boss up north, you're going to have to pay your Lions Club's bills promptly, on time, immediately. Vouchers and checks should be signed by the treasurer and countersigned by the selected officers whose signatures are on file at the bank. Those are the only persons to sign the checks. Nobody can just say, let me sign the check for you. It is the persons whose signatures are on file at the bank. Okay? You're going to make payments for items purchased by the club, as well as dues for the district. You're going to pay the multiple district, and you're going to pay your international dues. All those, your responsibility, you need to get those dues paid. Okay? Now, before you pay those, make those payments though, remember, all payments must first be authorized by the board of directors. However, yes, they should authorize all payments, but guess what? There are some ongoing payments that you meet every month, like every 2 weeks, like room rent for argument's sake. So some ongoing payments like a room rental for meetings are allowed. In such situations, the initial approval by the board of directors would be given to make such ongoing payments once a month or twice a month, as the case might be, as per meetings per month, okay? So that is the only time when you can maybe just pull the check to pay for the room because you had received pre-approved authorization to make those payments per month. Now, I want to look at record keeping and financial reports. Now, as I tell you before, the treasurer has to be very meticulous. Your person is going to be very meticulous and picky. The main priorities for the treasurer are to organize and maintain accurate record keeping and to submit the appropriate reports on time. Two main priorities for the treasurer: to organize and maintain accurate record keeping and to submit the appropriate reports on time. Now let us look at the record keeping for the treasurer. The treasurer, we are now in modern days, and the treasurer should use an Excel. You can use Excel spreadsheet, or you can use a ledger book. You know, older folks, we tend to use ledger, but Excel does the job beautifully. You should use the Excel or the ledger book to maintain general records of the club receipts and disbursements. You should reconcile bank statements monthly. Statements are now available online, so you can do reconciliation pretty quick. Maybe by the first of the month, you can reconcile the month before or the second or so, because it is online. We don't have to wait on the postman to come anymore, okay? That can be done pretty quick. Well, you need to make sure in your record keeping that you record all monthly income and expenses properly. That's part of your record keeping. You also need to review monthly itemized statement of credits and charges from Lions Club International to make sure that they are correct, they are accurate, and you submit these statements to the board of directors for approval. This tends to happen though only if there's an outstanding balance. If there's no outstanding balance, then it's okay. All right. Now, as I said before, use a ledger book or computer spreadsheet to do your record keeping. All dues paid must be recorded. And that goes without saying. Record all dues paid from every single member and all dues that you pay in respect to the district and to the multiple district. Record monies received and monies paid immediately. Record it same time to make sure that it is accurate. You're also going to prepare and submit monthly and semi-annual financial statements. Yes, make the report brief, very, very brief, factual and informative. We don't need to write composition when we are making finance reports. Finance reports are very short, to the point, and you're just putting down the bare facts, okay? What you're going to include in your monthly report will be a brief income and expenditure. So you want to show that. Much like what I showed you before, you want to show where the money came from and how it was spent. You don't want later on there's in a gray area wondering where did this money come from and how did we spend it? Poor treasurer gonna have a hard time that time. But if they include in their monthly report a brief income and expenditure, then everybody will be happy. Okay. You also need to present a copy of the monthly accounts to members and a copy to the secretary, especially for the meeting minutes. So difficult for a secretary to try to write those things. You should try to present or give a copy, more so especially send a soft copy to the secretary for the meeting minutes. You're going to also complete and submit report online by the 10th of the following month. Therefore, July's report should be submitted by August 10th. And nowadays, with the advent of internet, it can be done just like that. We don't even need to wait on the 10th, but the 10th is when you should have paid it. That's a cutoff point for you to supply your reports, submit your reports. Now, once the treasurer's information was submitted by the secretary to Lions Clubs International, the treasurer will, via My LCI, be able to submit their report. This I will go into a little more details later on, okay? I want to now look at the financial reporting. The club should outline in the club's constitution and bylaws that the board of directors should receive the club's financial report and bank statement on a regular basis, no less than once per month. And hear what I said, no less than once per month. So let me say, at least once per month, you should be getting a financial report. Okay? Now, it is of the utmost importance that care be taken to ensure that the bank statement and the financial report balance. As I mentioned earlier as well, we want to look at unrepresented checks, unpresented checks, unpresented checks, checks that we paid out. And you know, like Client Peter Gay here, she put the money in the drawer, totally forget to change it, so it sits in the drawer. So that check has not been cashed. We also need to look at any bank charges coming in. Banks nowadays are charging you quite a lot to do, you know, to do things, make checks or wire transfers or bank drafts or so on. Look, even just to have the account, there are standing orders, there are bank charges every single month. So you need to look for those, and you also need to make sure that the posting is correct, because wrong posting can also affect your balance. What should the financial report then include? First, you want an opening balance. Now, the opening balance is the balance that you reported during the previous meeting, the closing balance for the previous meeting. Therefore, the closing balance for the previous meeting will become the opening balance for this meeting, for this report, the new report. So therefore, when you talk about an opening balance, it is really the closing balance for the closing balance of the previous meeting will become the opening balance for the current meeting, okay? All income, what you call all income. Note the amount and source of the income. We're talking about all monies coming in. Now, your monies can be coming in from fundraising events, and these fundraising events should include an itemized report outlining the money they received and the money spent. So income in this case can be validated by ticket sales, gate receipts, attendance, or other quantifiable means. Income can be validated that way. Expenses, though, definitely all expenditures Or if you want to say all payments should be approved by the board and will require a forum. You don't just get up and pay like that. They all must be approved by the board, and there must be a quorum when that approval took place. Sometimes the expense payment approval is included in the club's budget approval process or by separate formal resolutions. Either way, the approval requires a quorum and must be reflected in the minutes. Receipts and invoices received should be obtained to verify the amount spent. You don't just come in and say, well, I spent $10,000. No, you need to bring a receipt or an invoice to verify the amount spent. Okay, so there must be an invoice or receipt for all significant expense. Okay, and when you do that, so you account for your opening balance, you account for the income that comes in, and you're going to reduce, take away your expenses, and know you arrive at your ending balance. Know your ending balance and income. Ending balance will now be, should be your opening balance plus whatever income minus expensive will become your ending balance or your closing balance. And guess what? Your closing balance now will be the opening balance for the next financial reporting period. Okay? So that would be the final amount that you would put for the closing balance for the financial report. Now, we talk about income, expenditures. Now I want to talk a little bit about reimbursement procedures. From time to time, members have to purchase things, especially if there's a fundraiser coming up. Members tend to go pay from their pockets to do things, and then they get reimbursed. However, please remember, reimbursements should only be done when the expense is approved by the board of directors and includes an invoice or receipt from the club's records. The club may establish a minimum amount that would not require a receipt, but that would be very, very, very extremely small. Okay, so anything, no matter how it is, try to get a receipt, try to get an invoice, otherwise maybe you won't be reimbursed. Okay. All right, I'm now going to turn to bank account management, how to manage the bank accounts. Now, bank accounts should include the treasurer and another officer as signatories, and every check that you draw should bear both signatures. However, nowadays it is really difficult. I mean, banks, it's very, very stringent. Due to the stringency right now of bank rules in regards to opening new accounts, changing signatories, the club can submit 5 signatories to the bank, and those would have been the signatories for the accounts. Now, what you can do is, when you're now needing somebody to sign a check, you now can use one of those persons along with the treasurer to sign the checks. But it has to be one of those 5 that can sign on the club's accounts. I should also make note that if the treasurer, for any reason, has to be reimbursed, then 2 other signatures should sign that check, and the treasurer should not sign the check that is being paid to her. Okay, just remember that. You can do that in terms of the 5 or whichever amount you wish as signatories, but you must, whatever changes you want to do, the club's bylaws should be updated to reflect that. Okay? As mentioned before, the club should maintain at least 2 accounts. Article 12 of the Standard Club Constitution and Bylaws define 2 distinct types of accounts. And we talk about the activities or the public funds account and the administrative funds account. That is, activities or public funds account and the administrative funds account. It is important that these funds be kept in separate accounts, I can't stress it enough, so that they can be easily tracked and accounted for. Okay? Public funds or activities funds, it includes all the monies you raise from the public, and sometimes if you have monies accumulated from invested public funds, that means you might have a CD somewhere where you made a big fundraiser and you had some money, you were able to put $500,000 in a CD. Those interests that you're gonna earn on that CD must be for the use, for the benefit of the public. Even if it is the interest on that money, it belongs to the public. Please, it does not belong to us. So it goes right back to the public. So no money can be paid from this account. No matter how your admin account is done, there's nothing there. No money can be paid from this account to the administrative fund. The only deduction that you could make from this fund would be the direct expense relating to a fundraising activity, which would be reimbursed to the administrative account from the activities account. That is really just come down to, if you had borrowed money from the admin account, you can put it back. But otherwise, no money from the public funds should go to any of your administrative running into your administrative fund for the running of your club. You look at your administrative fund. In this fund, you only get funds from contribution from your members, from your dues and your fines, as mentioned before, and from individual contribution. So, you know, we're having a band, each of us make a contribution, or our family, we have a play, home, whatever. But that money that we get is just to run the club. And it can only come from ourselves, our families, and our friends. Some clubs I know, earlier days, we used to have what you call a convention account. So all the raffle and tail twisting that you would have in a club at any given meeting, you would put in a special account, and we would call it a convention account. And what is this, a convention account? It is an account that we put a small amount of money in, and whenever your president or your secretary or whoever is attending a convention, a cabinet meeting, then we assist them by helping to pay for their maybe registration fee, assist them with part of their airfare, whatever we can. But that is only where the special account comes in. And although it might be a special account, you still have to account for that account. Yeah, make an account for it. All right. You want to make sure that you are transparent. The treasurer must ensure transparency. Transparency of finances is critical, it is important. In addition to the inclusion on the club's financial report presented to the board of directors, every account should be reviewed by 2 or more members on a regular basis. These members should ensure that the bank statement aligns with the financial statement. Members at the same time have a right to know about the financial condition of the club. Treasurers, you have to be concise, and you must give facts when reporting, and you must report in a timely manner. All that will reduce questions and enhance the credibility of you as a treasurer. Now, we might like the bank, and another time we might not like the bank. For whatever reason it is, we want to change banks. It is so difficult to change banks now, but remember, you can change if you wish, but you will need the approval of the board of directors. So any change to an account, including changes to a new bank, will require the approval of the board of directors. Now that we have spoken about some of the roles and responsibilities of the treasurer, let's now take a look at My LCI, where you will be uploading your reports. I want you to be friends with My LCI. Now, My LCI. What is My LCI? My LCI is a portal that connects us to Lions Clubs International. It gives you the opportunity to easily manage the club's financial transactions, including accessing club's monthly statements, making payments, among others. So, are you a first-time user of My LCI? Oh, don't worry, it's easy. It's almost like a piece of cake. Once your name has been submitted to Lions Clubs International as the club's treasurer, you may establish your user ID and get a password. First thing that you do, establish your user ID and password. After you do that, you will have access to the training area until July the 1st, when you get full access to My LCI. Now, once you have logged on, this is what the portal looks like. And on your screen, you will see what it is. And if you look under the support tab to your right, you will see the training areas along with other resources that you may need. Pay attention to the screen here. You're going to see it, you're going to be friends with it, you're going to be best friends for the year, and you need to know where to get information. So I think I've been talking for a little while, so I'd like you know, please to sit back, relax, and enjoy a short presentation on My LCI.
This video segment will introduce you to the MyLCI website and the basic features of the site. MyLCI is the site that replaces WMMR and Leo MMR. We changed the name because now it's so much more than simply a membership reporting tool. On the left side of the page, you can see the goals that we're striving for in the design and the development of the website. First and foremost in our mind is the goal of making everything easier and quicker for the clubs. We're also striving for improved accuracy in the data that we collect and share. With MyLCI, we wanted Leos and Lions to have a single site so that information can be readily shared between the Leos and their sponsoring Lions Club. And as the graphic on the right is intended to illustrate, with the technology underpinnings of MyLCI, it is our goal that MyLCI will serve as the hub of personalized tools that empower clubs, districts, multiple districts, and our global leaders to do what they do best, serve others. The technology within MyLCI lays the groundwork that will allow us to help clubs to better promote themselves, and it will allow us to be more accessible to our Lions with disabilities. The MyLCI website became available to Lions Club officers in July. Soon, Leo officers and district and multiple district officers will also have access to MyLCI. The design of the new website is based on suggestions from club secretaries, district governors, and international directors. On the website, we were striving for a consistent look and feel that would match the Lions Club International website. The website uses design techniques that are commonly used on the web today and supported across many browsers. The website includes informative and, we hope, understandable error notifications and transaction acknowledgments. And the website will better support the most widely used web browsers, including Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, and Chrome. The design includes multicultural dates, times, phone numbers, and addresses. Multilingual membership and service activity reports are also available through MyLCI. Based on feedback from club officers, I think you'll find that the new design makes the site easier to use and better meets the needs of Lion officers around the world. So what are the current functions of MyLCI? MyLCI includes self-service password. That functionality was first introduced with WMMR, and that means that club officers no longer have to wait for a letter in the mail to start using the website. The website can be used to report club membership changes like membership adds and drops, and the website can be used to update club meeting information. Club officers can be reported via MyLCI, eliminating the need for Lion officers to submit a PU 101 form and for the Leo officers to submit a Leo 72 form. Club monthly billing statements can be viewed and paid via MyLCI, and the MyLCI site can be used to report club service activities. A variety of printable reports are available. And finally, MyLCI provides club officers with a file of member data that can be imported into a variety of applications. One feature of MyLCI that has been well received by club officers is the officer homepage. Once you log into MyLCI, you're presented with a homepage that displays information personalized for your club and your role within MyLCI. The homepage has a task pane that alerts you to tasks that need to be taken care of, like reports that need to be submitted or when a member address needs to be updated. The homepage also displays your club meeting information, your contact information, your current membership statistics, and the status of membership reporting for your club. The page displays a snippet of service activities, including year-to-date service activity metrics. And finally, the page displays contact information for other members of your leadership team. There are 4 basic features of MyLCI that I'd like to highlight. First, MyLCI provides role-based access to data and functionality. That means that the menu options you see are based on the role or role that have been defined for you in the membership database. So, for example, if you're both a club secretary and a cabinet secretary, you'll see menu options relating to both of those roles. Likewise, you'll be able to access data from both the perspective of the cabinet secretary and the club secretary. Another feature of MyLCI is context-sensitive help. That means when you're working on membership changes, you'll be able to get answers quickly to questions you have about membership. And while you're looking at your club's monthly statement, you'll have quick access to the payment instructions. This is an evolving feature. As we gather statistics on questions and other support requests, we'll be able to add to the help feature. Immediate validation of transactions entered is another feature of MyLCI. That means the software will immediately tell you when you've entered erroneous data like a birth year in the future or when you forget to select a membership type. MyLCI will also provide confirmation that the transaction you enter was successfully received. So be watching for the confirmation messages like the one displayed on the right side of the page. MyLCI also provides helpful search features. You'll find predefined search criteria like show me all the life members in my club or show me all the members added this year. We call these predefined searches quick searches. An advanced search feature is also provided, that feature allows you to view and filter data in any manner you like. Quick searches are primarily targeted to data related to this fiscal year. Advanced searches can be used to view data about previous years. So for example, advanced search can be used to find members who were dropped from the club in the previous 2 years. This concludes our video introduction to MyLCI and its basic features.
Just click it down there. This one. Yeah. Where's your word doc? No, here. Video. I only just
I need to unmute now. Okay, I'm back. Wow, that was a video. I sincerely hope you all enjoyed that. I hope the video was helpful. And as you see, it can be found in the training area under the support section of My LCI. Now that we have seen My LCI and how it works, we are now ready to submit our monthly reports to District 60B. Yes? So what do we do now? We go to the district website. On the district website, you're going to enter subdistrict60b.org. Then you click on the members access, on member access, enter your ID and password. Click on the treasurer's report manager. You can read more on that page. And then you scroll down and click on add report. Now you have to make sure that when you are doing this, you make sure that you choose the correct options. Make sure that the name of your club is correct, the zone is correct, and everything else. When you're sure that everything is okay and you're finished, you then click submit report. You will receive confirmation of information submitted directly in your email immediately. Quick o'clock, it counts. You need to share that confirmation with your president, your vice president, your secretary, and members of your finance committee. When I previously discussed the various dues for inclusion in your budgets, I did not mention the details of the payments and the accounts. So I am going to show you a table that will tell you exactly what are the payments, what are the payments you need to make on a club basis and to where and how much. So if you look on your screen, you will see international multiple district and regional payments. Now, coming out of your admin account, as you know, is international dues. Now, your international dues is $43 per person per year. And Lions Club is the person to whom you're going to make the check. And the purpose of paying that money is that you're paying for your members' dues. However, the $43 is not paid at one time. You're billed on a semi-annual basis, and that's why you get two billings from international. Billing of $21.50 per person at the beginning of July and the beginning of January. I must also point out that if you're registered as a family, like families get special discounts, so the first member of the family will pay full dues, and the second family member will pay $10.50 semi-annually. So they get a discount of 50%, which is great. I think we should have all family members becoming Lions, right? Admin account, again, we have to pay district dues and multiple district dues. 1 year payment is $17, but you're billed on a semi-annual, and you pay $8.50 per person per 6 months, okay? So those are the two main things you paid in terms of dues, multiple district and your international dues. Those would come out of your administration account. When you look at your activities though, dues here are a little different. Your Leo levy. For every Leo club that the Lions Club has jurisdiction over, or any amount of clubs you have, you are going to pay $100 per club per year for your Leo levy. And that will be paid to Lions Clubs International, and you pay that once per year. I don't think we get any semi-billing on that. You pay that $100 per club once per year. So if you have 2 clubs or 3 clubs, you pay $100 per club. For the district disaster, we pay $100 too for one payment. I believe we do get a semi-annual billing from them, but you can pay that $100 to the cabinet secretary treasurer. It's $100 per club per year. Now, we have the regional disaster fund and the Ronnie Melbourne bursaries. Now, these are mainly for the clubs in regions 1 and 4. So in Jamaica, we pay 120 Jamaican dollars per member per year as our contribution to the Regional Disaster Trust Fund, and 150 Jamaican dollars per member per year for the Ronnie Melbourne bursary. I need to also point out that the accounts for the district disaster and so on is held in Jamaica. Please remember that all these must be paid in US dollars. You're in Jamaica, but all the accounts are in US, and if you pay in Jamaican, your payment will bounce. So you need to pay your district disaster, your other district dues in US. The only thing that I think the Jamaicans are allowed to pay is for the Regional Disaster Trust Fund and the Ronnie Melbourne bursary, which are Jamaican born, right? Now that you've seen what you pay for, I'm very sure that you're excited. There'll be no more mix-up about where to pay and what to pay or not what to pay. So now that we understand quite a bit, we are now going to prepare for the end of year. End of year coming up. Treasurer's year is just like the president's year. But I don't hear anybody wanting to fly out of the treasurer's nest as fast like how the presidents fly out. So the elected treasurer's term is just like the president's term. At the end of the year, all information and documentation should be in order. So if you have been maintaining your documentation and bringing your things up to date and good record keeping, then all your information documentation should be in order for you to give to the succeeding treasurer. So in preparing for the end of term, you need to make sure that you complete all deposits and make all payments before the ending of the year. And when I say ending of the year, I mean before June 30. You're going to prepare end of year statements promptly and turn them over to the new treasurer. All right. Apart from giving the new treasurer statements and deposit, make sure you put all your deposits and payments together and so on, you also have to give the new treasurer the bank lodgement books. You need to give the new treasurer also the checkbooks. And if there are any savings, you give them the savings book. You also have to give your new treasurer a reconciled year-end balance of all the accounts and a copy of your income and expenditure statements. So it is critical that you get all this in place and turn them over to the new treasurer as soon as possible. Well, the year has come to an end, and you will now have to do what we call audits. We need to conduct final audits. While a club, though, should regularly seek the advice of an accounting professional to ensure compliance with local laws, the club should also conduct an annual audit of the club accounts when the responsibility transitions to a new treasurer or at the end of each fiscal year, each term, each linistic year, okay? You should also look at the review. You must review all of the bank statements at the end of the year. You and your committee, your finance committee, you can review the bank statements, make sure they're correct, put them in order, look at all the fundraising that took place, look at the event and the project reports that have any financial implications, and provide information regarding the collection or disbursement of funds. Okay, so if any of these things are going to be running over into the new year, you ought to make sure and to inform the new treasurer what to look out for. In terms of your receipts, invoicing, and so on, you need to give her your receipt books, anything, invoice books, all the books that you have to show where you recorded your receipts, invoices, and everything else. That means every month that you are doing your bank recon, you should be filing them in a file, so at the ending of the year, you can quickly hand to your new treasurer the income, the receipt, invoices, and evidence of disbursements, and as well as a final year-end report. And in this final year-end report, you are going to show the income and expenses for the year, which should reconcile with the above documents. So that basically is what a treasurer would do. I've given you, I hope I've given you some information, but for the treasurer, I have a few tips. There are a few tips for you to have a successful year. Here are a few tips, and some of these are quite personal. First of all, you have to be very transparent, and you must be honest on the financial status of the club. Don't sugarcoat it. If things are bad, let everybody know the status of the club. Members, inform the members, tell them honestly what is happening. You should maintain up-to-date records, always do that. And when you do that, you will reduce questions and it will enhance your credibility. Always have your receipt book on hand. Don't leave it anywhere at all. Even when you're not going to club meeting, have it on you, because you know why? You might just see somebody who's handing you some funds for whatever. You are able to give them a receipt on the spot. Please to remind club members that when they're purchasing items for meetings or fundraisers, explain to them ahead of time, that they must present receipts. They cannot just go out and buy willy-nilly and throw it away and say, I don't have a receipt. They must give you receipts for anything, because if they don't do that, then they will not be reimbursed. Okay, make that pretty clear from day one. In the case that a club member gives the treasurer cash from a fundraiser, what do? Give that member a receipt for the cash, with a copy going into the club's record. Put a copy of it into the club's records. You're going to pay all the bills promptly. Don't wait around. Don't wait till tomorrow or the following day or next month. Pay all bills promptly using a method that will leave paper trail. You want to make sure that when you do it, there's evidence and paper trail that it was done. So there is never a question as to was it done or was it not done. So please use a method that will leave paper trail. And I want to say too, utilize technology as much as possible. Keeping books using a computer spreadsheet is, in the long run, much easier than doing it by hand. Okay, so those are my tips to my new treasurer and all treasurers coming in. So I didn't do this all on my own. I wish to thank, as you see under the slide, all those resources, references, and thanks I wish to extend to all these persons and the resources that I got. I especially though want to thank Lyons Catherine Peart and Lion Petergate Chang for their contributions towards the preparation of this online training. To you out there in cyber, in the wider audience, I thank you so much for listening. I hope you were listening. I sincerely hope that I was able to impart to you some information on what it requires to be a good treasurer. Are there any questions? If there are no questions, let me take this opportunity to wish for you all a very successful year in office as club treasurer. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is any questions in the chat? All right, so there are questions in the chat. I am.
That one.
This one?
There you go.
Yes, I'm hearing you now. I see 3
We
questions.
have
I cannot hear you.
you hear me?
No.
And Diane, I think turn off your video so that you can ask the question.
Well, I see here a question from Lion Dion.
Okay, so you will address them? So we have the Leo levy and disaster funds can be paid from activity accounts.
That's correct.
Okay, so that was, there is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a periodic report that you should submit to LCI in addition to the district?
Lion Sherwin, do we report to Lions Clubs International? Because once we send in the report, it goes to, it is being filtered to wherever it is to go.
Yes, you're correct. You're correct, Lion Narissa. The financial support is for the district. You don't need to submit it to Lions Club International.
Right. Right. And if the presentation will be available afterwards, yes, it is. Yes, it is. It will be. And you can maybe, Lion Julie will forward it to you. The questions, I'm not hearing you well, but let me just ask, just clarify, under no circumstances should funds from the public be used for administrative purposes, not even a percentage.
Lion Dan, I would ask the questions because you are breaking up. So the question, Lion Narissa, is just to clarify, under no circumstances should funds from the public be used for administrative purposes, not even a percentage agreed upon by the club directors?
No, because I remember that is a sore point, because at first I think it was an understanding we could take 10% of the profits. But I remember going to International and asking International, and they said no. What you can do though is the efforts that you put in, you can supply a bill to offset any expense that you had in doing the project, helping like maybe for your time and so on, but you shouldn't really do that. Lion Sherwin, you can maybe back me up on that.
Yes, you're correct. I think you were very forceful in your statements earlier,
yes,
where you indicated that all funds received from the public must be used for the public. And I think you adequately explain how you can transfer between accounts and for reasons that you can do those transfers. So I'm hoping that the treasurers are aware, because I know that that can become a gray area for some clubs and could be very contentious. Mm-hmm. So it is very clear that all funds received from the public and your charity account, or what you call your activities account, should be used only for projects. And as Lion Narissa said, you can transfer, you can lend money to the activities account, but it must be repaid. Yes.
You can, yes, but it must be repaid.
Yes.
But you can take money from your admin to your activities in case there is a shortfall of some sort in your activities account. You can fund projects with that admin account.
Correct. And that is correct.
Yes, but you can never ever add money from your activities to your admin account.
Yes. Okay. Len, any more questions?
Any more questions? I'm open. I'm feeling good. I don't see any more questions. I don't see any more questions. Well, I don't see any more questions. So I would just like to say thank you very much. And thank you all. Thank you, Lan Sherwin, for your comments. And everyone, you have a wonderful year, wonderful weekend. And all you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Bye-bye.
Don't go so quickly. I'm trying to find your certificate for you. So just give me a minute because Diane is experiencing some problems. So I will share that for her.
So what am I do?
Yes, you don't move. So Narisha, on behalf of the District 60B Global Leadership Team, we want to present to you this certificate of appreciation in recognition of your presentation of Club Treasurer to the Incoming Officers School Virtual Edition. So we want to thank you. This is your certificate, and we will email it to you so you have it as a copy.
Thank you, Lan Sherwin. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you
And Diane will now introduce the person who is going to do the vote of thanks.
Okay. I'll leave my camera off. Can you hear me clearly?
We can.
Okay, so having presented the certificate to Larissa, I would now like to invite Lion Wanuki Hodge from the St. Martin Club to move the vote of thanks. Lion Wanuki.
Good evening, fellow Lions. On behalf of myself, Lion Wanuki, incoming treasurer of the St. Martin's Lions Club, District 60B, and the entire St. Martin's Lions Club, I consider it truly a great privilege to propose a vote of thanks to all present. First of all, my sincere thanks to Almighty God for making today's training a grand success. By His blessing and grace, we are able to make and ensure that this event was a great success. While many of us already took the time out to thank our moderator for being on the ball and never giving up on the training to make sure that it ran smooth, we still need to thank Diana Angol, Melvin Jones Fellow, for doing a great job. The best and beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt by the heart. That invocation that was done by Lion Daffodil Sampson was just one of those prayers. We appreciate this very much. Thank you. To our facilitator, Lion Narisa Chang Melvin Jones Fellow, thank you for all your words of wisdom you shared with us that radiated that source of energy within us. We will forever remain grateful and thank you for being with us today. Obviously, no event of this nature can happen overnight. It takes planning. And we want to thank all those behind the scene, those technology-driven persons to make sure that they were on cue to ensure that everything really ran smoothly. Job well done, thank you. And of course, last but not least, the active participation of all our fellow Lions. Good, healthy discussions, personal tips are always key to everything we do. We thank you very much for this evening. Thank you, merci, gracias, my language, thank you well, and thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you so much, Lion Wanuki, for this wonderful vote of thanks. I'm sure that Larissa could fit right down in her heart. It was really appreciated, her presentation. I found that I agree that it was the most detailed session I imagine for incoming officers. So before we close formally, I would like to ask all of us here and others not here to join us again tomorrow at 7:30 p.m., 6:30 Jamaica time for the session on chairs to be facilitated by Lion Dave Scarlett. So we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you all, and do have a pleasant rest of the evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Everyone, night, night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Good night. Bye.
And
Good
good night.
Larissa. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Informative.
Good
Bye.
night. Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Have a pleasant evening.
Good night, all, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Thank you. And to you, if you are.
Likewise to you.
Good evening, all. Have a good evening. Bye.
Evening.
Bye, Diana.
Bye.
Bye, Len Hazel.
Dear, you too.
Thanks,
Judy,
Len.
I take up Mother's Day greetings.
Len Sharon, good evening.
I think Len Judy, they're on the
Good
North
evening,
Coast by this, enjoying our Mother's Day.
And Ricardo.
And Judy, please call me as soon as you're through. Thank you.
You have to pay for that service announcement now, Wendy.
Are you collecting Lion Show?
Yes, I'm collecting.
I thought everybody had gone. I thought everybody had left.
Wait, is Line Claudette that? Line Claudette?
Is that Mali?
No, that's not Line Claudette.
I see Line Claudette work on, but I'm not hearing a word from her. I need to give her a call.
Yes, Line Ricardo, you should give Line Claudette a
Where's
call.
Line Ricardo?
Hello, my sweet darling.
Hi, how are you?
Why? I'm going to say not as good as you because you should be petted and pampered today. So I will say I'm not as good as you, but I'm getting there.
Okay, Lion Ricardo.
You can be pampered in a line, Ricardo. You can
Next month will be your turn.
Very well. I won't grudge you.
Okay. Are you sure that he qualifies for next month? Not sure. Not
I am
sure.
very sure that I qualify.
Okay, Lion Ricardo. Okay,
Have you seen my 22-year-old child?
I will call you, Lion Ricardo.
And Ricardo, you need to speak to me as well.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
volunteered me for something.
Yes, ma'am. We shall speak.
Okay. All right. Bye, guys. Later.
Bye,
Bye, Line
bye.
Wendy.
Everyone.
Yes,
I'm just waiting for these.
yes. Yes, Lines, you can go. Have a good evening to the ladies. Continue to enjoy your Mother's Day.
Yes.
Go celebrate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad that situation held up until the very end.
Thank you.
And then Angle.
And Dana seems that she's disappeared.
She has disappeared.
Yes.
Her name is up, but that's all. It looks like
Yeah.
the sound really went.
Yeah, she's probably gone. Yes. All right. So then Judy, we will speak in preparation for for tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Landan is back. Yeah.
Yes.
Diana, I was saying how glad I was.
Diana, I'm
saying I'm happy that it lasted.
I'm here. I'm still here.
Your song.
Yeah, your song is thrilling, yes.
Yes.
But at least it lasts for the majority of, yeah.
I have always been there. I don't know why y'all wouldn't hear it.
We hear you a little
Like
better
what?
now. We hear you a little better now, yes.
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 You think numbers
I'm getting your input.
It looks as if when it's a lot of people, she has more issues.
Yes, her
but
bandwidth.
10 hours after I have said what I said.
Somebody's getting into the waiting room now.
I don't know what they're waiting for. They're probably early. They're early for tomorrow.
Yes.
Probably early for.
And then with the videos and so on.
Yes, they're early for
sharing
tomorrow.
and so on.
Yes. Okay, Len Eleanor, Len Bovina, Len Velma, Len Tushi, Len Teresa, Len Beulah. Yes, you're free to go.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye.